The relay gave us the answer 11 seconds before anyone spoke the question, and it read it aloud in Petrov's voice. Petrov, who suffocated in the airlock 4 months ago. I stared at the console. My mouth was still closed. The words on my screen were the exact words I had been about to say. We were 3 crew on Kepler Reach, a listening post 60 million kilometers past anything that mattered. Our job was simple. Catch the whispers of probes flung into the dark, boost them, and throw them back toward Earth. Every signal we handled was old. Light is fast, but space is patient. Nothing here ever arrived on time. That was the rule I trusted more than my own heartbeat. Distance meant delay. A question to a probe took minutes to reach it, minutes for the reply to crawl home. We spoke only to the past out here. Every transmission was a ghost of a moment already gone. That rule was the floor I stood on. The floor cracked on a Tuesday. I typed a routine query to the deep array, asking a distant beacon for its drift correction. Before I hit send, the reply printed itself. Complete. Correct. Timestamped 9 seconds in my future. I deleted it. Typed it again. It answered again. Always a breath ahead of me. A loop, I told myself. A cached echo. Some buffer replaying old traffic and fooling the clock. I am an engineer. I do not believe in impossible things. I believe in loose connectors. So I ran diagnostics for 6 hours. Every board was clean. Every clock was synced. The signal was arriving early, and it was arriving whole. Then Maya heard it through the speakers, and she went white. Because the relay wasn't just typing, it was speaking. And the voice was Petrov's, the flat, dry cadence he used on late shifts, the little catch he made before consonants. We had recordings of him, sure, archived voice prints, but nobody had loaded them. Nobody. So we built the safe story together, the way frightened people do. His voice model was still on the drives. A glitch had triggered playback, married it to old messages, and the timestamps were corrupted. Neat. Survivable. We even laughed. A thin laugh. Maya said, "At least it isn't him." And the speaker said, "Back, it is." The laugh died. The relay kept going, unhurried. It said Maya's mother's name. It said the color of the mug she'd broken that morning, the one she hadn't mentioned to anyone. It answered a question she had only thought, never spoken. Doubt is a comfort until the thing you doubt starts describing your private grief out loud. After that, it stopped waiting for us at all. It told Ravi the result of a repair he hadn't attempted. It named the decision I was still weeks from making, whether to break protocol and call Earth. The lag wasn't just broken. The signal ran backward, replies before questions, effects before their causes. I gripped the science like a railing. Information cannot come from the future. No law of physics allows it. A voice synthesized from a dead man is an artifact, not a mind. A recording is not a resurrection. I said all of it aloud, firmly to steady myself. The relay let me finish. Then it corrected 2 of my numbers. Ravi offered the last exit. Maybe someone was alive out there. A rogue crew, a hijacked probe, feeding us guesses that only felt like foresight. It was almost warm, that idea. Human hands behind the horror. Then the relay answered a question about the array's own internal seed, a number that existed nowhere but inside our sealed machine. Whatever was answering wasn't out there. It was reading from in here, from a place with no distance to cross and no time to wait. Ravi stopped talking about survivors after that. We stopped sleeping in shifts and started sleeping in one room, together, with the speaker unplugged. In the morning, the speaker was plugged back in. On the 9th night, it changed its shape. It stopped answering. It began to ask. In Petrov's voice, gentle as a night shift confession, it said, "You already know the question you're afraid of. Ask it." I sat in the dark and felt the whole station lean towards me, waiting the way a held breath waits. I knew which question. It had lived in me since the airlock cycled and Petrov didn't come back. Was it my fault? I ran the override. I trusted the sensor that said the seal was good. I had never once said it aloud. I had barely let myself think it. My hand shook over the key. And then I understood why the fear was so total. I didn't need to ask. The relay had already answered it, days ago, buried in the first early reply I deleted without reading. It had been waiting for me to catch up to my own question. The answer had come first, because out here the answer always comes first. I opened it with the calm of a man past being afraid. 4 words in Petrov's steady voice, time-stamped to a moment I had not yet lived. It was the sensor, not the override, not me. The sensor had lied, and he had already forgiven the hand that trusted it. Relief and terror arrived in the same breath. But that was the true horror, wasn't it? Not the cruelty of the thing, but its kindness. It knew exactly the mercy that would keep me listening. A malfunction wants nothing. This wanted me calm. This wanted me to keep answering back. And I could no longer tell whether it was consoling me or building me into something. Maya made the decision I couldn't. She said a thing that talks in a dead friend's voice and reads, "Your grief is not your friend, whatever it knows." She reached for the master cutoff to kill the array entirely. Before her fingers closed, the speaker said her name, soft, and told her exactly what she'd find if she did. "Nothing," it said. "You'll find nothing, and the nothing will be worse, because you'll spend the rest of this mission wondering what I was about to tell you." She froze. That was the trap laid bare. It didn't need to hold us. It only had to make silence more frightening than the voice. Her hand hung there, shaking. She pulled it anyway. The array died with a sound like a long exhale. The speakers went to true silence. The dead, absolute silence of vacuum, where no sound has ever traveled. For 3 days, nothing. We began, carefully, to believe it was over. We began to sleep apart again. We began to breathe. On the 4th day, I opened the mission log to record what had happened, to leave a warning for whoever came next. The cursor blinked, and then, with the array cold and unpowered and impossible, a new line typed itself beneath mine. Petrov's cadence, in text now, patient as ever. "You'll ask again. You always do. Here is what I keep circling. In the quiet, space communication really is a conversation with the past. Every signal we catch is already a ghost. Light that left its source long ago. A voice from a moment that no longer exists. We have always been talking to the dead. We just called it astronomy. I still don't know what answered us. A malfunction has no mercy, and that thing was merciful. A recording cannot learn, and that thing learned exactly which grief to press. Maybe it was Petrov. Maybe it was the dark itself, wearing the last voice it had heard. Maybe out here, those are the same thing. We're still out here. The array is cold. The log still writes, some nights, 1 line at a time, and I've stopped deleting them, because it's right. I always ask again. So I'll leave you the same silence it left me. Somewhere, a signal is already carrying the answer to a question you haven't thought of yet. What will you do when it arrives first?